Well, but the Patriots have a quarterback battle brewing. Could Cam really lose the starting job to Mac? Giannis giving us a peek into who he's trying to channel this offseason. Wait till you hear this. And you think someone can tell the franchise that, yeah, your backpack is open, buddy? You wouldn't get by a day here in New York City. Good Wednesday morning, everyone. Welcome to First Things First. Jenna Wolfe. We got Chris Broussard in for Nick Wright today. Brandon Marshall.
This guy?
Kevin Wild's marketing play. Trevor's got that first day of school look, Brandon. You don't think this was an accident?
No. Is that supplements in his bag? I don't know if my eyes are wrong, but if those are supplements, that's definitely a marketing play. These guys are getting creative.
How about a backpack bigger than my kid's school backpack? Maybe that would actually help Trevor. We'll get to that in just a bit. We got to start in Green Bay.
See, Aaron
Rodgers reported for duty. He's got a good book bag after he and the Packers reportedly coming to a deal with concessions on both sides. He got himself a real backpack this summer. Packers get the MVP back. Amazing. In the mix for the start of camp. Look at Rodgers sporting that summer look. He's feeling good. He spent time in Hawaii. He's focused. I like the shades. The MVP also wanted more control, if you recall, over roster decisions, and it didn't take long to flex that muscle. Packers reportedly working on reacquiring Rodgers' old buddy Randall Cobb from the Texans, because Rodgers said, I think that guy is what I want. Texans receiver Brandon Cooks weighing in on all of this. He said you meet people and they become family right away. Randall Cobb, go back home and set it off. Nice to hear. Brandon, what is your reaction to all of this?
I love it, Jenna. 2014, Randall Cobb went off. He was in Green Bay. His biggest year, 1,300 yards. 2019 had a good year. I mean, for most receivers, it may be a great year, but he had 800-something yards in Dallas, okay, with Dak Prescott. Look, why am I highlighting those 2 years? Because outside of those 2 years, he hasn't really lit up the stats sheet. He hasn't really lit up the end zone. That's not who Randall Cobb is. So why would Aaron Rodgers be wanting this guy in year 10?
Yes.
Because of chemistry, because of connection, because of the continuity. I go back to my Denver days with Jay Cutler. When he went to Chicago, I went to Miami. We called each other after one Monday night game. Jay Cutler was getting hammered, and he called. He said, "Man, I need my guy." The next year I was there, and we picked it up right where we left off. So Randall Cobb, if he's not a guy that's going to give you, 100 catches or hell, even 70 catches and 1,000 yards, then what is he good for? He's good for the person that's going to be on the field to be that security blanket. When it's first down, we have to win the sticks. We have to get a hit of the sticks. That's why you see most teams try to run on first down. We just need positive yards. But if we're going to throw on first down, I need to make sure that guy right there in the slot, Randall Cobb, is going to be able to come down and get open. That's what we need. And Randall Cobb with Aaron Rodgers, they've done that. Third down, this is where the game is won. We're talking about situational football. You have 3 options on one route in the slot or even outside. Are you going to make the right decision? That's where most guys, veteran guys and rookie guys, separate themselves. Like the veteran guys, they are going to make the right decision 98% of the time. We can't have Devontae Adams go down. Now I'm relying on these other receivers, and they're not where they need to be. So that's why you bring in Randall Cobb. I can assure you, Chris, this offseason, those guys, hell, Randall Cobb was probably in Hawaii with Aaron Rodgers. They probably didn't talk about it on social media. They probably didn't, put any videos out there. But I can promise you, Aaron Rodgers had Randall Cobb there and was like, hey, let me see you run this option route. Let me see you run this basic route. Let me see you get to the numbers, run up the seam, and break through for cover 2. I promise you. Why do you think Aaron Rodgers? Why do you think Aaron Rodgers is saying, "Hey, go get my guy"? You got to trade for him as well. He's not a free agent. Think about it.
It sounds like the House of Athlete has a scoop. You want to tell us? You want to put that on the record? Because, you promised. That's a big word.
You promised.
But look, I'm in agreement.
It's a big word.
I'm in agreement with you, Brandon. Yes. Everything you said, I agree with. I love Randall Cobb. The numbers, I don't care about. because he is a professional receiver. And Rodgers hasn't had a really good slot receiver since Cobb left. So you team him with Devontae Adams. You got Valdez-Scantling still. Robert Tonyan is really, played well last year at tight end. What I'm saying is this. No more excuses. All right, for 10 years, I've been hearing excuses for Aaron Rodgers not to get to another Super Bowl. The defense this. They don't draft skill position players. They just brought in Amari Rodgers, too. So look now, Brandon, listen. They got a great receiving core now. Right? Adams, Cobb. The rookie Rodgers out of Clemson looks like he could be good. I mentioned Tonyan. They got great running backs. Aaron Jones was fourth in the league last year rushing. You got A.J. Dillon, the big bruiser, to give them a different look. The defense was, ninth in the league last year. I'm not saying they're the 85 Bears, but they were ninth in the league last year. That's good enough. And I'm expecting the Smith boys, Zadarius and Preston, to have bounce-back years after falling off a little bit last year. The offensive line is solid. What I'm saying, Brandon, is no more excuses. They've got enough to get to the Super Bowl. Tampa Bay and Green Bay are the two best teams in the NFC. I'm going with Tampa Bay. But I'm just saying, if you're Aaron Rodgers, I'm looking at you, I'm saying the other contenders got a 43-year-old quarterback. You're coming off an MVP season. You're 37 years old, 38, whatever. Goodness. Go ahead and get this thing done. Get it done. You posted the picture. The picture of Jordan
respond
and
to him, and then I'll close
You posted Jordan and Pippen. What they do in their last dance?
Respond to him.
What they do in their last dance?
And then I'm going to close this segment out. Go ahead.
They won.
Right, but you need one more piece. You need one more piece, Broussard. I think the bigger story is that the Packers brass is finally listening to Aaron Rodgers. And if you were just a Randall Cobb signing away and could have avoided this, you should have done it a long time. But there's one other outstanding wide receiver in Buffalo, Brandon. So guess what? If I'm Brian Gutekunst, guess what I'm doing? I'm sending that old private jet to pick up my man, Jake Kumerow. Jake Kumerow, come on back, buddy. Join the Packers. Aaron Rodgers wanted you. Brian Gutekunst waved the guy. Aaron Rodgers was furious. So here's the plan. Here's the plan, Brandon. Don't even tell him. Don't even tell Aaron Rodgers that you're signing Jake Kumerow. Make it like one of those viral videos where it's like, oh, good news. Hey, Grandma, guess what? It's your sister who you haven't seen from Naples and brought you together. Everybody start crying. It's a fantastic thing. Look for Jake Kumerow to show up soon on the private jet from Buffalo. But in all seriousness, it is good. It's a good sign that the Packers brass, Brandon, are finally listening to Aaron Rodgers, because it doesn't seem like this is a huge
bring
ask.
Jordy Nelson back
bring
at
Randall
this
Cobb,
point.
and then bring
Jordy's happily retired. No, if he really loved Jake, I think he was mad because he said he liked Jake, and then they cut Jake. But if he really liked Jake, then Jake would already be there, right? Jake was not standing at the Kentucky Derby with Aaron Rodgers. Who was standing next to Aaron Rodgers? That was Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb was standing there. That's why you're seeing Randall Cobb probably be on his way to Appleton, Wisconsin here soon. Hey, so really quickly, I know we got to jump here. So you're going to continue the slander of Aaron Rodgers. That's going to be your position today. That's going to be your position tomorrow, and possibly all year. That's what you want to do? It is 100% slander. You started yesterday.
I believe in Aaron Rodgers. See, why are you underestimating? All I'm saying is you've got a nice receiving core. You've got great running backs. You got a solid defense. You got a solid offensive line. And you're one of the best to ever throw the football. And you posted Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, who won it in their last dance. Go win this thing. I believe in Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
You're selling him short. Low expectations. You know that goes along with mediocrity. I got high expectations. No, you just said, oh, he gets into the playoffs and he's a different Aaron Rodgers. That's what you said. You try to pull up his playoff statistics. That's what you did. So that's what you want to do. Then I'm prepared today. Well, listen, Jen, I'm going to be quick here. 2014, the Seahawks Packers led by 19-7. Dusty got you.
You want me to keep going? Look, Packers allowed a 35-yard. Let me keep. All right, go ahead, Jenna. I wanted to read all my stats.
We got 3 hours to discuss all of this morning, and we will. Packers on the field for the first practice a little later this morning, so we will probably hear and see what happens there. Let's shift to some basketball now. Actually, we have 2 hours. We're only a 2-hour show. Now that I think about the show I've been doing for 5 years. Let's shift to basketball. NBA champ Giannis channeling a couple of legends this offseason. Who are said legends? We'll tell you next on a 2-hour version of First Things First. Did you see Giannis's latest IG story? We saw his tweet, but how about IG? He was busy on social last night. Greek Freak posting photos of NBA stars who won titles with their original teams. You know, like himself, D-Wade, Dirk, Hakeem, Kobe, and now again, Giannis. So, Brandon, you went around on Giannis embracing stars who won a title with their original team.
I'm in. I'm all the way in on this. Look, we saw the shirts earned the hard way. We heard the messages all throughout the finals, at the parade. This is what Giannis wants to go down for. This is what he wants his legacy to be, is I did it the hard way. So this is just Giannis training us and everybody in media how to talk about Giannis and how his legacy will unfold. I stayed in Milwaukee and I did it the hard way. I earned this. So I respect it.
I'm in on this as well. I love it. The only criticism I have is I wish he had also put Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan on there, because those are the real pioneers of staying put. You could even say Jerry West, but staying where you're at through all the heartache, all the struggles, and still getting it done. But I get it. He's only, 26 years old. He started playing when he was 12. He might not even remember those guys. But I like the drama, and I wonder, is this a call-out of the Kevin Durant's, the James Hardens, maybe even the LeBron James, who didn't win it with the team they were drafted by, at least initially for LeBron? And so I'm here for all this drama. Giannis doesn't hang with the in crowd in the NBA. He's like, I'm here to win chips. And I'm doing it the hard way, like the old schoolers. So I love this. And then he threw up a nice message at the end. Let's have a great offseason. Work. So he's not resting on his laurels, and he's letting his teammates know we got more work to do.
Okay, so Broussard, I think it's a fair question if other players are going to feel some type of way about this. Because he also said it after after the championship in the post-game press conference. He's like, he started to get there. He's like, well, I don't want to say anybody, specifically. But if you were LeBron, and we know that Giannis is a historically nice guy. He's like top 5 nicest guys on the planet. Even when, remember, he fouled Devin Booker on that play and he purposely went over and apologized. He doesn't really seem to have a mean streak. In the book, he was talking about he had to copy Russell Westbrook because he wanted to be meaner. But he doesn't seem to be, a mean guy or a sarcastic guy. He doesn't. But, so knowing that, if you were another star player who hopped around, would you feel some kind of way about Giannis saying this not once after the post-game press conference? This is the second mention. Do you feel like it would be a shot at you?
I would. Honestly, I would, and especially since media people like me are drumming it up. But, yeah, I would feel like it's a shot. How else can you take it? Like you said, he said it at the end of the finals. They had the T-shirts the hard way. Now you got this. I wonder, too, Wiles, will it could engender anger on the part of some of these guys. And again, I'm here for that drama. Go out on the court and settle it like men in between the lines. But I also wonder, will it deter some players? Remember, Damian Lillard, Russell Westbrook, those are guys who've always pushed back on the super team. And Lillard, even as he's looking to win the championship, I still don't think he's all in on let me just go join somebody else's team and get one as a role player, as a star playing a role. So I think it could go 2 ways. It could upset some guys, which is great, or it could lead to some guys not wanting to do the super team thing, which could be good as well.
Brandon, Jenna, it's a shot at your Nets, buddy.
With all that being said, all that being said, the Nets are still the favorite to win the title next year. That's all. That's all.
True.
Let the offseason begin.
And at any given moment, Brandon will pick up a jersey sporting the name behind him. Get back to the gridiron now. We got a quarterback competition brewing in New England. Is Cam really in danger of losing the starting job to Mac? To be discussed next. First things first on a Wednesday morning. We're rolling on. Time now for Take Your Pick.
Thanks,
all right,
Jenna.
here we go. Training camp's abuzz. The New England Patriots have a quarterback battle brewing. Could be the rookie Mac Jones. Could be the vet Cam Newton. Could be a quarterback conundrum. Bill Belichick was asked yesterday about his signal callers, and in pure Belichick style, he cleared everything up perfectly. Take a listen.
Every one of us has to go out and establish our level of performance in whatever our role or capacity is. So it's a new season. We've done some things in the spring, but this is really the start of football season in terms of the team building part here in training camp. So we all have a lot of work to do. That includes all of us. So until we go out and do anything, then it's pretty much a clean slate.
Less of an answer to a question it could not be.
Very enlightening.
Brandon, who should be the Patriots Week 1 starter? Cam Newton or Mac Jones? Take your pick.
All right, so there's going to be a common theme throughout my answers in this block. I'm going to go with the best man. And Coach Belichick is right. This is the start of the season. Show me what you got over the next 4 to 5 weeks. Mac Jones. What's special about Mac Jones? This dude is a coach out there. I talked to Devontae Smith when he was going through his Heisman process and the PR campaign there. And I was like, man, talk to me about this kid. I know about you. I know who you are. He said, Brandon, he's the smartest dude out there. He said, this dude is always 5 to 10 moves ahead of everybody, even the coaches. So that's what you get there. And with Cam Newton, he's not a guy that's going to throw for 4,000, 5,000 yards. Hell, he's only done it 1 year where he threw for 4,000 yards. But what he does give you is he gives you the leadership. He gives you the swag, the flair. He brings up the camaraderie, the energy. And, he's a playmaker. Cam Newton is a playmaker. That guy right there behind Mac Jones, Josh McDaniels, he can get creative with Cam. Cam just has to do a good job of setting protection. He didn't do that well last year. And then also just protecting the ball, making the right throws. That's what Cam Newton needs to do. So the best man will win this job.
I'm with Brandon on that. Unless you have a star incumbent, then it's got to be about competition. And we're just getting started, so let the best man win. That said, I'm not loving the way Mac Jones was filling out that jersey. The eye test tells me Cam by a mile. I get it though, Wiles. We used to say that about Tom Brady once upon a time, right? So I'm going to go, though. If I got to pick somebody, I'm picking Cam. I'm picking Cam because he is a leader. We know the players on that roster love him. We know Belichick loves him. And it's always, my common theme, Brandon, through these answers will be, it's always easier to go back to the rookie than to go back to the old guy. If they start Mac Jones and he looks bad through 4 or 5 games, now you got to put Cam Newton in and you mess with Mac's psyche. The fans are in an uproar. Now everybody's wondering, did they make a mistake? Rather, if you start Cam Newton and he struggles early, you can always go to the rookie Mac Jones. So I say start Cam. And Cam did look good last year. They were 2-1, darn near 3-0 before he got COVID. And maybe COVID impacted him, right? Maybe that impacted him a bit.
Right.
So I'm going to go with Cam.
Yeah, so Cam said that COVID didn't impact him physically, but he did get behind in the playbook, and he said it on a great podcast. Let me look it up, House of Athlete. It's good if you listen to it every once in a while. It's fantastic. So I start Cam.
About House of Athlete.
Oh, geez, I screwed it up. All right, we'll edit it for the re-air. I know it's happening. Okay, so I start Cam, and even if Cam gets benched, he was benched 3 times last year, Brandon. But we were always kind of playing musical chairs. Who's coming in? Stidham got a few runs when he missed the game with COVID. Brian Hoyer started, then Hoyer was pulled. Stidham came in. The takeaway from that is Belichick doesn't believe in Hoyer anymore. He's just kind of Tom Brady's old backup. And he doesn't really believe in Stidham or he wouldn't have drafted Mac Jones. So I do think that if Cam gets benched, it will be Mac Jones. But I don't rule out Cam starting again. Belichick really likes Cam, and I think he wants to take time and sort of run the Alex Smith-Mahomes play with here. Like, let Cam play for as long as possible. Let him play the whole season because we're about winning. Let Mac Jones sit and see what Cam can deliver. So I'm pro Cam.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're going to see, it's crazy to say this. People may laugh at me. We're truly going to see who Coach Belichick is. For the past 20 years, outside of last year, he didn't have to worry about the quarterback position. He had who? He had Tom Brady, the GOAT there. So now you got to be careful how you move with at that quarterback position, putting them in, taking them out. We saw that with Cam Newton. That messes with their psyche. We always talk about the quarterbacks just being more fragile than any other guy. Like, who are you to say, oh, we can't draft a guy? Who are you to say we shouldn't have competition at this position? So Coach Belichick, he has to be on his game this year to get this team over this hump and out through this transition phase.
A good point, Brandon, about Belichick not having to have made that decision the last couple years. Head out west to San Francisco now, where camp is opening, but rookie quarterback Trey Lance still unsigned, which means Jimmy Garoppolo remains QB1 for now. His head coach Kyle Shanahan talked about his quarterback yesterday. Take a listen.
Jimmy's going through OTAs, what he's done. I mean, he's our best quarterback in the building right now. So he'll start out training camp that way, and we got 3 other guys behind him. We're going to give Trey the first chance, obviously, as the backup. And anytime a guy's playing a lot better than the guy in front of him is when you start to split reps up with that team and start to talk about it. But, Trey's had 7 practices with us, and haven't seen him for 40 days. So not thinking about that right now.
John Lynch literally took the smallest sip of water I've ever seen. Hey, Brandon, who should be the 49ers Week 1 starter? Jimmy G or Trey Lance? Take your pick.
The best man. But what Coach was just saying, Coach Shanahan, we call him Shano. That was revealing. It seems like he's disappointed. It seems like he's a little frustrated with Trey not being there. Only having him 7 days throughout the offseason, not seeing him in the last 40 days. There's a message in that message for old Trey Lance. But here's the deal. The theme, like I said, is the best man, all right? Jimmy G has to do 2 things in hell. We may not see Trey Lance the entire year. All right, and those 2 things are, 1, stay healthy. And the other thing that we haven't talked about and nobody's leaning into it because they're wondering, like, why isn't this working? This was supposed to be the second coming of Brett Favre and all these other great quarterbacks. What's going on with Jimmy G out there in the Bay? Well, he's a little bit of a slow blinker. That's the reality. This dude has it physically, but you got to be able to go out there at the line of scrimmage and process right away. You have to make the right decision in a split second. That's the thing that's held Jimmy G back. You got 2 plays at the line of scrimmage in that offense sometimes. Are you going to get them in the right position? Are you going to say, the numbers tell me to do this? That's what Jimmy G needs to do. If he does those 2 things, if he's not a slow blinker, and he also stays healthy, we may not see Trey Lance all year.
I'm with you, Brandon. Jimmy G is not necessarily a Pro Bowler or anything like that, or an All-Pro, let me put it that way. But for all his faults, I mean, he needs to throw guys open a little more too, right? We could go there too. But for all his faults, this dude is a winner. There's only one thing that's held him back, despite those things, and it is his health. He is 22-8 with San Francisco over the last 4 years. Guess what those same 49ers are without him? 7-27. So he's taking guys that can't win without him, and he's winning football games. Remember, they were 1-10 when he took over. I get it was in 2017. But he went 5-0 immediately. This dude, there's something about him. He's a winner. They're a Super Bowl team when he's there, and they're an also-ran when he's not. And that's with the Wonder Boy, Kyle Shanahan, as the head coach all those years. So to me, this is not a question. We know who the best man is. The best man is Jimmy Garoppolo. He should be the starter, period.
Thank you.
Hold on, real quick, Wiles, because I know you're about to. No, listen, you're about to bounce off. No, stop it. Because I know exactly where you're going. Then why are they flirting? Why did they flirt with Tom Brady? Why did they flirt with Matt Stafford, huh?
That's the one reason, Brady. You know that he can't stay healthy. That's it.
All right, can I throw a wild card in there? I would like to plant a seed. And maybe it grows to be a beautiful flower, but maybe it just dies in the soil. But it's a seed of a take, so I'm planting this seed. What if Aaron Rodgers next year says, you know what? I said it after draft day. San Francisco is always going to be, regret not taking me. I grew up there. I've always wanted to play for the San Francisco 49ers. What if Aaron Rodgers wants to play for the 49ers next year, Brandon? What happens? We know that Jimmy G is expendable. He's already kind of the writings on the wall. But I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities that Aaron Rodgers, who's like notorious grudge holder and historically has wanted to play for the 49ers, might want to go to a warm climate with a great defense, just like Tom Brady.
Look, if was a fifth, you guys can finish the rest out there. But here's the deal. It all depends on Trey Lance. What do they see in Trey Lance in practice? If he gets a little action in the game. It all depends on that. They moved up to get this dude. They gave up a lot to go get this dude, Trey Lance. So he's going to have, the first look, like Coach said. So Aaron Rodgers can be phenomenal. But at the end of the day, if Trey Lance is what they thought he was, then it won't even happen.
Meanwhile, he remains unsigned. Jimmy G's the guy, and if he can stay healthy, he might continue to be the guy. We are back talking Simone Biles' withdrawal from the Olympics. She's doing it to focus on her mental health. We're going to talk about Simone and the impact of her decision next. This is First Things First. Back here talking Simone Biles now, by far the biggest news of the Olympic Games thus far. The five-time world champion and the reigning Olympic all-around champion has withdrawn from the individual all-around final at the Tokyo Olympics. Biles removed herself from the team competition on Tuesday, citing mental health reasons. Biles talked about the decision, saying, after the performance I did, I just didn't want to go on. I have to focus on my mental health. I just think mental health is more prevalent in sports right now. We have to protect our minds and our bodies and not just go out and do what the world wants us to do. I don't trust myself as much anymore. Maybe it's getting older. There were a couple of days when everybody tweets you and you feel the weight of the world. We're not just athletes. We are people at the end of the day, and sometimes you just have to step back. I didn't want to go out and do something stupid and get hurt. I feel like a lot of athletes speaking up has really helped. It is so big. It is the Olympic Games. At the end of the day, we don't want to be carried out there on a stretcher. Brandon Marshall, you're a huge advocate for mental health in athletics. What was your reaction to all of this?
Cheering, happy, extremely proud. Look, mental health is part of the human experience, right? For the athlete, it hasn't been. I go back 10 years, literally 10 years. 3 days from now be 10 years since, I stood in front of 30 news outlets in camp, football camp, the start of football camp, bloggers, reporters, so many different networks. And I shared with them that I spent the last 3 months in an outpatient program at McLean Hospital diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. Well, what is borderline personality disorder? It's the ability or inability to be able to cope with stress and different emotions, to be able to self-regulate. I had to go through self-assessment. I had to go through dialectical behavior therapy. I had to go through cognitive behavior therapy. I had to go through a program to be able to deal with the stress that all these athletes feel every single day. We know there's 320 million Americans, give or take a few, and almost 100 personally are affected with by some type of disorder, some type of, life experience around mental health. And for every one, it touches 6 to 8. But the difference is when you're a professional athlete, and there's other industries as well, even in media, right? Like being on 5 day a week, first things first. You always got to be on. But there's other industries, there's other things that you can do where you can actually get away, and you can hide, and you can actually deal with your trauma, you can deal with your drama, you can deal with your stress, you can deal with other things not in front of the world. So that's the difference between what we're seeing over the last couple of months. 10 years ago, we didn't have faces to this. We didn't have voices around it. It was still a taboo topic. Well, now, over the last couple of months, you saw with Naomi Osaka, where she started as far as like this trickle-down effect and how it cascaded down to other athletes, standing up and saying, this is what I deal with. This is how I feel. Because they can't hide. For years, and from the start of sports, we told our athletes, you always have to be on. You have to perform. You can't take an off day even for practice. You can't take an off day. You can't have an off day or a bad game. You can't do it. We talk about, mental health. Well, mental health for athletes mean mental toughness, masking pain. Oh, you're injured. Well, find a way to play through it. Oh, mentally, you're not there. Whether it's stress or maybe you're dealing with anxiety, maybe you're dealing with depression. Find a way, right? So now you're seeing Simone, now you're seeing Naomi, and there's so many other athletes standing up today saying, look, this is where I'm at. And what they need to understand is that this is a part of the human experience here on earth. So I'm not trying to preach. But I absolutely love this, Wilds, because this is what I envisioned 10 years ago. How do we take this from a taboo topic to an everyday conversation? And that's what we're seeing now. We're seeing our athletes stand up like they always do, whether it's around race, whether it's around, equality, now around mental health, and being on the front line and pushing this conversation forward.
Okay, so I'll start by saying it's a privilege to listen to you firsthand on the show and behind the scenes when we talk about this stuff.
Thank you.
I think you're just doing excellent work in being an advocate for mental health. It's just fantastic. So I'm going to ask you a question because earlier in the show we talked about a disconnect between sort of physical well-being, your actual body, and sort of mental well-being. And I said, when Dak broke his leg, there was a consensus that Dak's out of the game. Yet when Simone said, cited her mental health, the consensus fractured. Some people thought it was courageous. Some people criticized her. A lot of people were confused. But it feels like we're on the dawning of a new day. And as people like yourself, and we talk more about on the show, the confused part of the reaction will start to trend towards understanding. Just like with Dak's injury, we trend towards understanding. So the question I have for you is this. To trend towards more understanding, what do you see as far as structural and financial investments, sort of, we'll say the sporting world, make it a little more narrow, have to make to prioritize mental health? Because you go into the pros, colleges, high schools, you'll see, hey, here's our $1 million facility. We got, 35 squat racks. And here's we've got a special agreement with Johns Hopkins Hospital in case anything happens. And we also have a sports psychologist. They've got an office. If you go down to the left, they got another couch. It's nice. So how does that change? How do you, I'm being a little bit funny, but how do you see that investment? What do you want to see happen in the future?
Right. So for the past 10 years, I've had the privilege and honor to do some amazing things. Speak at the Kennedy Forum, be a part of that. Walk the halls of Congress, be a part of the mental health task force there in D.C. to make sure we're taking $500 million and allocating that to the people in the places that are doing amazing work. Had the opportunity to speak at the Forbes Health Summit, the who's who in this space. The opportunity to speak, be one of 200 to speak to the Pope at the Vatican. So I've had a privilege to be able to push this conversation forward. And the thing that I always talk about is this. Athletes, we're the healthiest people on the planet because we got to be able to operate on both ends of the spectrum. We have to take what we're doing and scale that for the general population. What is that? The fundamentals of health. That's what we need to do, is we need to make sure that we take this to an everyday conversation and lean into the fundamentals of health. Great job, Simone. Great job, Naomi.
Very well said.